finishes so far in the series on the privateer ride going, I'd like to beat that guy. That'd be kind of nice. And it looked to me like that half a lap or so when he was working on the pass, man, he really turned it up a notch and has actually gained a little bit on the next rider in line.
Yeah, Hahn had it off one in Moto 1. He was 35th. Had some trouble there, but basically he's been around the top 5 in every other Moto this year, and now he's into the top 5 again. Hahn is his first year on a 450, and he raced the lights class for a couple of years. Now they call that the 250 class, but he's always said he felt more comfortable, would feel more comfortable on a big bike, and he's proving himself right now for sure. And the mechanics are pumped up too on that Canada Motorsport Kawasaki team. They're a privateer team in the sense that they don't get all the good stuff that the factory team gets, but they do get support from Kawasaki. And with Villopoto out, Hahn would actually be the top-ranked Kawasaki rider in the series. So it's a good thing they have those teams.
Right. Well, it may not be all the good stuff, but it's good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah, he's doing great. And you know, I remember watching him come up through the amateur ranks with Josh Grant. You know, those guys were battling each other, and Josh Grant in this moto sitting clear back in 24th.
Wow, and look, he's about to go a lap down, like you're saying, and that's what you're afraid of with Josh Grant. He's fast, but you never know with that guy. In his history in that 250 class, he's got some moto wins, a race win, but you never know what you're going to get. Meanwhile, let's give you our Geico top 10 replay nominees. That's Tyler Bowers going over the bars violently on the first lap. That was Josh Grant right in front of him. Then check out this one entering the sand section, trying to get out of the sand section. Ouch.
Robbie Rayner just... Yep. It didn't look like he tumbled. He just stopped.
Yeah, they call that the lawn dart. The body just hits the sand and stops. Luckily, the sand's at least a little bit soft. So Alessi's got everything going his way. Not only is he in the lead, but he sees that Josh Grant, one of the guys who'll be battling for this championship, is now a lap down. So Mike's feeling good. And we talked to Mike quite a bit before the series began. Everyone kind of figured he would be one of the riders battling for this championship. I don't know if people expected him to be dominating quite like this. But as far as the preparation and the amount of training Mike puts in, well, he should be doing this kind of thing. Mike Alessi works and trains as hard as anyone. Let's get to know Mike Alessi for this in-depth feature.
Going into the, the 09 motocross season, I'm focused on myself, doing the best that I can and not worrying about anybody else but Mike Alessi, and that's it. And just going out there, getting great starts and being up front and doing the best that I can and being safe the whole weekend. Yeah, when the guys say, they get 10th and, whatever it is, they're content with that. It seems like they're content with not being the best. And for me, I want to be the best, and I want to show everybody that this year I can do it. I can pull it through and win the championship and be that guy holding the #1 plate at Steel City.
Well, for the moment, Alessi is the one holding the red plate. That means he's the points leader in the series. That lead will only get bigger if he holds on to win this moto. You heard in that bit there, Alessi talking about riding his own race. A lot of hype between the battle with him and Villopoto. Those guys went to war as amateurs. They battled in the 250 class, and Mike did his best to try to avoid any of that, and it's paying off because now that Villopoto's out, Mike can just keep on riding his own race. It's not like the air is out of the system saying, well, who am I supposed to challenge now? He wasn't thinking about Villopoto in the first place.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what else is going on on the track. I mean, he's got so much of his own focus is gas on that fire even more by the fact that he's always in the lead. It doesn't really know or care what's going on back there behind him. And look at Tedesco. Speaking of starts, he got the worst one you could get, and he's working hard. Yeah,
he's up into the top 10 right now. Tedesco, who lived in Texas for a little while, actually originally from New Mexico. Now he's part of the Camp Carmichael outside of Tallahassee, Florida. Spends most of his time there.
This probably feels a lot like one of those days, I mean, I'll bet you there's some Wednesdays, midweek rides that those guys used to do back in the day down there when Ricky was winning everything. Hot and humid, went like this. Kind of late in the day where the track is rough and coming apart, and you're just like, man, I don't want to do this, but if I do this, it's going to make the weekend better.
Yeah, so Tedesco has come from last to inside the top 10. We'll see how far up in the rankings he can go. Mike Alessi, a 26-second lead over Chad Reed. We'll have the conclusion when we return. Welcome back to Texas for the very latest motorcycle racing news and results. Get green alerts from Speed Mobile, from huge wins to big upsets. When the action happens, you'll know. Just text KX to 7733333 and get free text alerts. Speed Green Alerts, presented by Kawasaki. Mike Alessi out front here. Big lead, and David Bailey, you think he's just kind of on cruise control right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's going fast in the places he knows he needs to go fast, and in other places he's just so comfortable today with this track, with the setup of the bike. You see him just kind of lean over the front and go, let me see if I can downside this plateau perfect. He's just having a good time out there now. And
give a little example of what Alessi's dealing with out there.
Yeah, like you see his boot buckle hanging loose right there. No big deal. That used to be James Stewart's trademark, you know. More boot buckles that came undone. Watch this, though. Complete face full of sand. Trying to get around a lapped rider who's riding with no goggles, by the way. So it's hard for him to see. And he doesn't know what line Mike's using. Watch how close they come. Whoa! Mike's like, dude, what are you doing? Get out of my way, man.
It's just like being on the interstate. He gets it to him twice. That was Shane Sewell. He gets to know Mike Alessi a little bit better than the non-verbal communication. So the boot strap is off. The lap riders are in the way. So that just shows you how tough it is in this game. It appears that everything is going Mike Alessi's way, but despite that, there are always some dangers out there.
Yeah, you can't ever count your chickens, but I know if he gets thirsty, he can just reach for that tube hanging over his left shoulder and take a sip. I mean, he's prepared. This kid is just, he does everything he has to do, and I'm sure the people are like, well, what are you, a Mike Alessi fan? No, not necessarily. I'd kind of like to see Chad Reed get up there and do well. I'd like to see Short get a win in this class, especially in his hometown. It's just that when somebody's doing things right and they come prepared and then have a day like this, you know, I'm going to mention it. He works hard for this.
This is Josh Grant we're watching. You would think he's in a battle here with Reardon for fourth, but that's not the case. He crashed. He's a lap down from these riders, outside of the top 20, and only the 20 out of the top 40 positions get points. So if you're not in that top 20, you're going to score a 0, essentially. That's the problem for Grant. He was second in points coming into this race, and he's going to lose a bunch of them to Alessi today. Josh Grant rides hard, and that's good most of the time, but on occasion it can come up and bite you. Reardon, who has been solid today. He's in fourth, won a battle with Short last week. Short got the better of him this time. He's in third. You got Tommy Hahn fifth and Ricky Dietrich in sixth. He's looking at seventh in the first moto and sixth in Moto 2. He said he'd like to race next weekend at High Point on Saturday and catch the red eye and race an off-road race on Sunday. With results like this, it's going to be a lot harder for Kawasaki to say no.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that there's a chance that at Mount Morris next weekend we could see some rain.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's done it before, you know, and if it doesn't rain during the race, it could rain right before it or between moto, and I've seen it rain all different times during the day and make that a muddy race. I think Dietrich is pretty good in the mud.
He's an off-road guy. He'd almost have to be.
I think he's really good in the mud, and I haven't seen, I'd just be inclined to think that because of the skills that are required and the kind of racing that he does. So, you know, Kawasaki should figure out a way to get him to both events. I mean, look what he's doing. Usually, I mean, Jessamine had the same opportunity today, and the first moto he was out early on in the race, and he's in 39th in this moto. He didn't start, so you know, look at the difference. Dietrich definitely deserves a shout, and so does Tommy Hahn, sitting in 4th and 5th this moto. And you know, it's the absence of you know, Josh Grant in this moto, the absence of Villapoto that's opening these guys' eyes a little bit, like some of the privateer teams and good support where they're going, man, I can get up there and kind of see some new guys up there near the top 5. That would be awesome. And, you know, that wouldn't be awesome to Mike. He wants to win everything. But for somebody that's normally running 12th or something like that to be up there in, you know, 5th, 6th, or 7th, or even have a look at it, that's an exciting day.
Mike Alessi now putting the finishing touches on a 1-1 moto sweep. We mentioned earlier on the show, this is what was expected out of this kid when he dominated through the amateur ranks. He's won some races. He's always seems to be in the thick of it for the championship. But he's never quite established that dominance that he had when he was an amateur. He might have taken a big step toward doing it today. He's going to go 1-1 and win by a big margin again. Mike Alessi sweeps it here in Texas. And his teammate Chad Reed is going to say in the results, second. That's not bad, but big gap between Mike and himself. And you know Chad wants to win And he'll keep digging throughout the summer to try to get there.
He'll get better and better. I just have that feeling. A little bit of his hope. I'd like to see a good battle and see Chad get up there. But it's just like Short. But he's got a little work to do to find some speed in those first few laps.
Reed takes second, and you saw Short not too far back in third. That's